Brainwave, Australia's only paediatric neuroscience charity, was started 18 years ago for very personal reasons.
Brainwave began because my eldest son Nicholas had a brain tumour when he was 6 years of age. And after he was operated on, I was told a story by his neurosurgeon how the piece of equipment that they were using to remove his tumour actually broke down during surgery. And I think for any parent that is a frightening thought. So I pretty quickly saw, or we as a family saw, that there was a need for funding, and that's really where it started.
Brainwave Australia was established in 1994 to provide much needed support for children and their families. That support has a practical element in the form of mobility equipment and vital care programs. But the emotional support is just as important, connecting and empowering families to build networks and to overcome the isolation which comes with caring for very sick children at home. It's absolutely vital.
Brainwave's role has evolved over the years following an initial donation to the hospital for a piece of much-needed surgical equipment to a more comprehensive, not-for-profit organisation that supports families in need in a range of different ways. When a child is diagnosed with a brain illness or suffers an accidental brain injury, theirs and their families' lives are turned upside down. They are all thrust into a new world of hospitals, medical professionals, unfamiliar terminology, and an unclear future. The pressure on these families is intense, emotional, physical, and often financial. That's where Brainwave steps in.
Brainwave has a program in the hospitals. We have an application form that sits with the social workers and the rehab teams, and they put applications into us for mobility equipment for families or rehabilitation equipment that they may require. That could be pressure mattresses, trikes, treadmills, things for rehab, or just necessary feeding aids, bathing aids. And they're the things that really cost the families.
But it's not just physical support that is required. Often parents, siblings, and the affected children themselves feel isolated and alone. To help ease their pain, Brainwave has developed a range of care programs.
You know, not forgetting the families and the mothers and the fathers who are, you know, it's just as hard for them as what it is for the kids. So I think Brainwave have been able to tick those boxes, which are really important as well.
So Brainwave doesn't only support the child with the disability or the illness, it actually supports the parents with the parent dinners and just going out without the children for one night. And it also helps the siblings of the other child. It's a very stressful time with having your sister or brother with a brain illness and all their attention is focused on that child. Brainwave just supports those siblings to say, look, it's okay.
Oh look, my favourite Brainwave experience would be no doubt the Christmas party down at Luna Park. I bring my kids along and, you know, we run around and say hello to everyone else that's there and all the kids and all the sick kids and also, you know, the families. I think it's a real morale booster for the whole community.
I think one of the things I first found was good was the parent dinners. It gave a lot of parents, and not so much for my wife and myself. We pretty much had things under control with Tiffany when we first went to a parent dinner, but there were quite a few parents that were really suffering, really struggling with the not just the burden of the sick child, but the other kids that got in their families, and it just gave them a night away, just a night to, you know, relax, talk to other people, not necessarily about their kids, and have a bit of fun. It just takes a bit of pressure off you.
3 years ago, Brainwave went one step further, creating the ultimate connectivity, an online portal called BrainSpace, where parents and siblings can chat online.
This BrainSpace was started as yet another part of the care programs, and that's probably the national program because that connects families Australia-wide. That is designed to allow parents to talk to parents, siblings to connect with each other, and the child that is the patient to connect with other patients.
So when Tiffany was diagnosed, we had nothing. We were given some pamphlets, we got on the internet, which was pretty young back then, and we were daunted by the amount of information we got. And you really have to sift through all that sort of information. And when especially your first child, it's really hard to take it all in and to gather the anguish you're suffering. So to have something like BrainSpace where you can talk to other parents on a parental level rather than a doctor to parent, even though the doctors are fantastic, it's nice to talk to other parents.
Her Excellency, the Governor-General, Quinton Bryce, is Brainwave's patron-in-chief, who along with patrons Sir Gustav Nossel, sports stars Michael Klim and George Gregan, and media personality Sean Cosgrove are a vital link in the Brainwave chain. Brainwave is lucky to have the support of Ambassadors Lindy Klim and Jason Hodges, along with their own junior ambassador, Tiffany Wozniak, who was diagnosed with a life-threatening brain illness as a baby. Now a bubbly, highly accomplished teenager, Tiffany is a walking example of the support and connection Brainwave provides. None of Brainwave's support work can happen without a great deal of hard work and dedication behind the scenes. It requires a team on the ground working with volunteers, corporate sponsors and philanthropic trusts and foundations to raise the money to keep up the good work and support those families who need help most. Help Brainwave to support children with brain illnesses and injuries, and feel satisfaction knowing that someone else's life has been assisted by your generosity. It's a good feeling.